Good morning to all of you. Today we are dealing with the most significant and the most unique concept for the entire humanity. The title of this today's class is motivation. The very word motivation gives several questions. Who has to motivate whom? I think the best way to answer this question will be to understand what is motivation and how Gita Acharya, the Acharya of the entire world, Jagat Guru, Lord Krishna, has given his answers for the motivation. And before that, I would like to tell you that since you are people chosen to do the rural management course, you must know that probably some of you may be aware that we have got three spiritual gurus, Acharyas. The Shankaracharya, who has given the Advaita Siddhanta to motivate people to seek, and subsequently Ramanujacharya, who has given Visishtadvaita to further motivate people to seek the salvation or the liberation from the vicious cycle of birth and death. And the third Acharya is the Madhvacharya. And I remember his quote about Paramadharma, what is the ultimate dharma of the human beings, which is the real motivation. And he mentioned that Svavihita Vrutya Bhaktya Bhagavad Aradhanam Sayeva Paramo Dharmaha. Forget about Bhagavad Aradhanam, we have to focus on Svavihita Vrutya. What is your Vihita Vrutya? What is the profession you have chosen? According to your current understanding and my understanding, you have chosen to be a student of BBA Rural Management. What is your Vihita Vritti? Vihita Vritti is learning. If that is the Vihita Vritti, how you must do it? Bhaktya, meaning with devotion, with passion. If you do the learning or study things, know about things with passion and devotion, you will get really the ultimate motivation, because you need to motivate yourself. Nobody can motivate you. Until and unless you chose to be motivated, nobody can motivate you. So that is the brief introduction about motivation from the Sanatana Dharma perspective. Let us understand the objectives or the goals for this session. We define motivation and its scope. We understand various motivational theories and their relevance in organizations. Understand reward mechanism. We elucidate the nature and characteristics of leadership, because leaders are there to motivate people. And when there are leaders, there are people who get motivated. Actually, leaders are motivators. Explain the importance and various theories of leadership. Get an insight into the leadership styles and their patterns. These are the objectives set for today's session on motivation. Let's understand the meaning of motivation. I think you can see the picture over there. There is something which is impossible, but the person tries to make it possible by exerting the maximum power he has had, and he is jumping from one cliff of the mountain to the other cliff of the mountain. And it is quite possible that this gentleman may be having the ultimate passion, the ultimate devotion to achieve something which is possible only when he jumps like this. So Albert Einstein entrusted this belief in his saying that genius is 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration. Meaning smart work. Perspiration is nothing but sweating it out. But when you have an inspiration, that is a smart way of doing things, getting inspired by smart people, you will be certainly achieving whatever you wanted to do it. So you need to have certainly a very intelligent, wise and smartest way of working and working towards your goal. India, that is Bharat, offered Vedanta, and gifted realistic theism, and set liberation as the ultimate motivation for all the souls in the human body. You all belong to, by virtue of your birth in this country, to a belief that today whatever we are seeing, as me as a faculty, you as a student, this is one particular birth in which we have taken birth as human beings, and you are now students, I am now a teacher, and you may become a teacher over a period of time, or you may become a manager or a leader or a business leader. But what after that? We all will have to die, and we believe that we take birth again, and the souls are eternal just like the God, and we will always take different forms, different upadhi in the sense the framework within which, or the body in which we will be residing as souls. So, the ultimate motivation for people having belief in Sanatana Dharma is salvation. Salvation is nothing but coming out of the vicious cycle of birth, death, birth, death, birth, death. So, what will be the salvation? Salvation is coming out of this one and stay at one particular place which is proximate to the Almighty and enjoy the bliss. That is what is called the salvation. So, Greek people have tendency to seek for all the pleasures, luxuries and comfort. They tend to avoid pain and distress. The world has got several motivations, several theories, several perspectives. So, the meaning of motivation might differ from person to person, from culture to culture. The concept of hedonism is very short-sighted and with limited scope, as it is not capable of measuring the real meaning of pleasure, which varies from one person to the other. As I told you, happiness cannot be measured. Bhagavad Gita mentioned that happiness is a state of mind that has nothing to do with the external world. Suppose if you are happy today, the reasons for you being happy may vary from the others. If you are not happy today, the reasons are also different from others who are also equally not happy. So, let me take an example. Some people seek pleasure in serving the society, or in doing some good deeds, or being showing kindness. Such type of pleasure is not captured under the concept of hedonism. Hedonism is a as I mentioned to you, this the Greek people have come out with that kind of a thing. The hedonism will not be able to capture a pleasure or a happiness in serving others, in being helpful to others. So, that is a limitation. William James and Sigmund Freud have underscored the significance of instinctive behavior and unconscious motivation in shaping up the human behavior. Why a person behaves in a particular manner. Sigmund Freud and William James have done some work on that one. The basic and the most common instincts that act as a catalyst to human behavior are need for love, security, sympathy, acknowledgement, dominance, fear, autonomy, a sexual pleasure, harm, avoidance, play, jealousy and curiosity. These are all the instincts human beings will be having. Suppose if your instinct is to enjoy this session, learn as much as you can from this session, you behave in a different manner. If your intention is to kill time, somehow learn, you will be casual towards this session. If your intention is to learn, but your tummy is not supporting because you have eaten something which is causing some sort of a disturbance in the stomach, though you wanted to have something from this session, you may not be able to have it, because your previous instinct of eating more, indulging in eating more, has caused the distress now. So, you will be guided, you will be persuaded, you will be prevented, you will be facilitated by your instincts. Instincts are nothing but your strong desires. let us see what is the process of motivation. Okay, you have an unsatisfied need, a need to have more money. Generally people are having that one. So it creates a kind of tension in the current scenario. You have some money, but that some money is not going to help you fulfill your desires. Why do you want to have more money? Because to fulfill your desires, you have several desires, like going to Europe trip, or buying a wonderful bike, very costliest bike, or owning four-wheeler, okay, and having a bank balance so that you need not work. You can simply while away, tour the world, be a traveler and be happy. There are people with that kind of a motivation. So if that is not there, it creates a tension. Tension drives you to act, because how can you fulfill your desire? When you try something, it will reduce the tension. When you do not try, the tension gets built up and leads to depression even for that matter, because you are not doing, you are desiring to become rich, but you are not doing anything. The tension builds up because your desire is accumulating, the strength of the desire is accumulating. It is not resulting in any action which is going to help you realize the desire. And when you start doing certain things, you will start getting the satisfaction. Okay, when the satisfaction is achieved, you search for a particular behavior. What is that behavior? A satisfied behavior, or half satisfied behavior, or partially satisfied behavior, or a behavior which makes you feel that okay, I have done enough, enough is enough, and I would like to enjoy. So a behavior which is going to be the result of your satisfied need. So this is in reality a motivational process. Okay, you have other process which has been shown in the picture. You have a responsibility, you take up the job. Okay, you would like to get the job satisfaction so that you can grow, and you got the promotion, which means which is an achievement. When you got the promotion, many people recognized you, saying that you have proved yourself on the job, you got the promotion in very less time. Okay, and do you stop there? You will not stop there, because it gives you a responsibility, a self responsibility to be consistently behaving the same way. Sometimes your motivation to shoulder a responsibility because of various reasons. For example, you are the only son, your father is going to be retired, he is not going to have any pension, he is a private employee. So what is your immediate motivation? Immediate motivation is to try your luck and try your best to shoulder the responsibility by taking up a job which is going to give you a monthly income, so that your livelihood is ensured. In the process of shouldering that responsibility, you started doing, working, liking the work. You grow, you have grown, you have got promotion, you got recognition. Will you stop there? No, you will not stop there, because your need drives you, and that drive result in some sort of a satisfaction which is given a reward, and that reward you wanted to receive continuously. So that is the ultimate cycle of motivation, because one cycle of motivation leads to a continuous cycle of motivation. The term motivation is technically derived from Latin word movere, which represents thought, to move. Some of the most commonly quoted definitions of motivation will help you understand what is the motivation. Before that, as I mentioned to you in Bhagavad Gita, which was delivered by Lord Krishna, to boost the Arjuna's declining morale and absolutely no motivation, no confidence, and he has given him confidence, not by motivating him but enhancing his awareness. According to the organizational behavior, there can be different motivators to work: recognition, achievement, advancement, as I mentioned you, for growth, etc. But the Gita gives you a straightforward, simple answer of what should really be the motivation to work. And it says the work itself. It is interesting, very true. As I told you in the beginning itself, Svavihita Vrutya Bhaktya. Arjuna did not show the devotion and the passion of his Swadharma, that is, as a Kshatriya, he should fight. He should punish those who committed adharma. And he forgot that one in the guise of relationship, in the guise of relatives, in the guise of friends and other people. But when they have committed a sin, as a Kshatriya, he has to uphold the dharma, and his work he has ignored. What Krishna told him is to remind him that your work is your only motivation. And you will find it in Sankhya Yoga, verse 38 shloka in the Sankhya Yoga. This is the reality. You know, this country which has given birth to Sanatana Dharma has got several pearls of wisdom. Only you need to search for them, understand them, use them, and grow along with it. According to Wittles, motivation represents an unsatisfied need which creates a state of tension or disequilibria, which means there is no equilibrium, causing the individual to move in a goal-directed pattern towards restoring a state of equilibrium by satisfying that need. So, that is what one definition is talking about, to move from the current state of not having to the state of having it. So, that is what is called motivation. As per Ray Stark, motivation is an outcome of procedures, external or internal to the individual, that arouses passion and determination to chase the goals through certain course of action. Stark has given a kind of a very practical definition of motivation, because if you want to move, will you just move? No. What do you see? Is it safe to move? Then you will also think at what rate I should move. Then if you will also feel that if I move at that rate, what is the benefit I am getting? You will have a kind of a, estimation, guesstimation or assessment of what will happen if I do this. So, that is nothing but a procedure which you unconsciously adopt to move from the current state of not having any motivation to a state where you get motivated. In view of Stephen P. Robbins, motivation is the readiness to employ high levels of effort towards attainment of organizational goals, accustomed by the effort's intensity to satisfy some individual needs. When people are working in the organizations, why people exceed their targets? Number one is to get the recognition from the organization, achieve the goal, and at the same time, when you have done that one, organization will also recognize you and reward you. As stated by Atkinson J.W., motivation is the immediate influence on the direction, vigor and persistence of action. This is what Atkinson mentioned about it. Motivation is the immediate influence. What is your direction? What is your vigor, in the sense the strength, and the persistence of action, which means you want to achieve something, like you want to go to a movie. So, you will search for the book my show kind of it, and you will find several theatres. You first of all you will choose the best theatre where you like the most because of the air conditioning and the other ergonomics. If you are not able to get that one, but your drive to see the movie is more than achieving the comforts of watching the movie, then what do? You select the next best theatre, And that's how you will consistently try to ensure that you watch the movie. As proposed by S.W. Gellerman, motivation is steering one's actions towards certain goals and committing a certain part of one's energies to reach them. As I told you, this is how you will be talking about it, about motivation. It's a drive. There is a tension which makes you go forward to achieve whatever you feel like achieving. M.R. Jones stated that motivation is how behavior gets started. How do you start your behavior? And how do you strengthen it? And how do you continue it? And how do you direct it towards achieving the goal? And when do you stop it? What kind of prejudicial reactions are present in an individual while on these are going on? Of course, when you are starting, what kind of thinking you will be having? When you are strengthening your way of achieving the goal, what kind of thoughts are there? So, when you are started, when you strengthened, when you continued, when you get directed, when you stopped, what all happens in your mind is nothing but put together is called motivation. So, old truths in a new context. Bhagavad Gita, written thousands of years ago by the super management guru, Bhagavan Sri Vishnu, Sri Krishna, enlighten us on all the managerial techniques leading to the harmonious and blissful state of affairs as against conflicts, tensions, lowest efficiency and least productivity, absence of motivation, lack of work culture, etc., common to most of the Indian enterprises today. You will agree with that. Okay? Every organization is struggling to increase the efficiency, increase the productivity, increase the motivation, increase or the vibration of the work culture. And this is a common problem. What is the major difference? Western management thoughts too often deal with problems at material, external and peripheral levels. The Bhagavad Gita tackles the issues from the grassroots levels of human thinking. Once the basic thinking of man is improved, it will automatically enhance the quality of his actions and their results. In this particular example, I would like to tell you that lowest efficiency. The definition of what is efficiency given by the Western management is different from that of what is given by the Eastern thought, that is Bhagavad Gita. What is real efficiency? Real efficiency according to our Sanatana Dharma is that kind of an efficiency which a man can certainly achieve to the maximum extent possible, considering his strengths, internal strengths and intrinsic motivation he has got towards that, which means his passion and commitment. His passion and commitment and physical strength determine the standard of efficiency for that person. Similarly, organizations are bundles of such kind of energies, nothing but organizations are made by people and people are having unique capabilities, unique strengths. A collective strength is nothing but organizational efficiency. So, organizational efficiency, if it is seen from the individual perspective, enabling the individuals to have the highest commitment and passion for work, then automatically things will happen according to the maximum levels of investments people can make in giving the work. Let us understand the cycle of motivation. Please watch the picture there. There is a need, as has been discussed, there is a drive to fulfill that need. In the process, there is something called arousal, which is nothing but as you drive, as you move towards achieving your goal, you get further booster dose kind of a thing, okay, and you behave in a different manner. When you are having a need at a state where you are not doing any work, your behavior remains same. When you want to fulfill that need, your behavior changes. So, first of all, you take a decision to start. When you started, slowly it will develop a kind of a momentum and your behavior changes. and that behavior leads to achievement. Okay, I would like to caution you here that all your efforts may not lead to achievement. Your efforts might result in failure. Then you should not get demotivated. A failure is a stepping stone of success, which means you need to dig deeper into why you have failed. What was your estimation and assessment of achieving it? Where did you go wrong in thinking about it? So, again you have to have a need. What is that need? Need is to correct. Where did you go wrong? And when you run again the same cycle, you will get the failure converted into a success. Then the cycle is not going to end there. Then that gives you another scope. For example, you wanted to earn 1000 rupees in a day as against 200 rupees currently you are earning by doing something. You tried, you could not earn. Sometimes you lost those 200 rupees also. You tried again, you have achieved 500 rupees. You tried further again by correcting your mistakes. You earned 1500 rupees. What will happen? So, your setting of goal for 100 rupees, 1000 rupees is not realistic. You can still achieve 1500 rupees, which means in the process of your motivation to achieve that 1000 rupees earning per day, a different behavior you have shown resulting in different results. Meaning, if you continue to show that kind of a behavior, you might even get 2000 rupees, double your target. So, this is a continuous process which is going to give you a professional kick in the way you run yourself, your life. Let us understand motivation in Western parlance. Okay? You have need, you recognized that one, that is called cognition, and you have an emotion for that. Okay? So, emotional events and social contexts are the first preconditions that exist before you start driving towards achieving that goal. What are the environmental events? Suppose all your classmates got the jobs, you did not get the job. What is the social context? Your family members may not tell you, but they also feel bad that you did not get the job. They might tell you in a way which is motivating to you that don't wait, don't worry about it, you will get it, you will get whatever you deserve. That kind of a philosophical talk people might give you, but deep in you, you compare yourself to the social context. What is the social context? The social context is all of your friends got and you did not get. Okay? And you know that you need to achieve, you need to get the job. So, you have a need to get the job, you understood the need and you understand your emotion also. So, you are not emotionally driven, but you are driven with certain facts and figures, certain capabilities which are realistic to yourself. So, what will happen? You energize yourself, you direct yourself in a sustainable manner, so that your behavior, your engagement on the goal, your psychology, your sociology, your brain activity, your self report, all these things were in synchronization, meaning you start in a way which is sustainable to yourself, and in that sustainable manner you need to see that changes in life are nothing but the outcomes, which means you give a performance, you take some tests, you go to some campus placement processes, you take the written tests, okay, you take the interview and you gain some insights about where did you go wrong, where did you do well, okay, what prevented you from not able to speak well, things like that. So your performance is, now you understand, but is realistic. You get the data about your performance, you know about your achievement, you know what have you learnt, you know what kind of adjustments you have to make to yourself, what is that skill level and talent you have had, and how do you feel about yourself. Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling healthy? Are you feeling ill? You know, this kind of things. All these things will involve you in the cycle of motivation. Bhagavad Gita is a quintessential of human behavior. Let me read one statement here. Neither in this world nor elsewhere is there any happiness in store for him who always doubts. In a simple Sanskrit shloka, samshayatma vinishyati. If people doubt themselves, there is absolutely no happiness either in this world or in other worlds, either in this janma or in any other janma. First of all, you have to remove the doubt. Samshayatma vinashyati. The Atma that is with samshaya is going to become perished. It is not going to flourish. It will get perished, because that Atma, that soul, is always doubtful about its own existence. Some people will always say that, you know, I don't know whether God exists or not. But you know very well, when you have taken idli, it becomes blood. Somebody has taken from the north puri, that also becomes blood. Somebody from northeast has taken fish in the morning itself, that also becomes blood. Who is converting all that stuff into one single outcome, that is called blood? There is a mystery that is there within you. Who is orchestrating that mystery? Science might say that it is happening in the stomach colon, and stomach colon is the result. But you know, science will take hours together, volumes together, to explain how your idli becomes blood. But simple is the nature's law. It is very simple. It happens just like that. Okay, you have to understand, simplicity is the hallmark of very many people's success. Okay, now let us understand motives, which are actually the driving forces for any person to move towards achieving a particular goal. Okay, there are biological motives: hunger, thirst, need for oxygen, regulation of body temperature, need for sleep, avoidance of pain, okay, elimination of waste, meaning there is a need to relieve yourself. Either you have to urinate or go to toilet for excreting your stool. Okay, there is a sexual motive, you need to fulfill your sexual desires. Okay, there is a maternal motive, you need to feed your baby, or you need to take care of your kid. These are all the motives, okay, which drive the people, which are all called biological in nature. They are born in the biology of the human beings and drive the human beings. Okay, these are all called biological motives. There are people who live with the biological motive only, because the people who are foodies, they always think about, for example, in one of the famous NDTV interview, Rishi Kapoor and other Kapoors were there, and the interviewer asked one question: what do you think when you are taking breakfast? One of the Kapoors mentioned, we think about the lunch. Then the interviewer was got perturbed. Then he asked, what do you think about during the lunch time? We think about dinner. Then Kapoor himself said, while we are eating and enjoying our dinner, we think about the breakfast. There are people who get stuck at biological needs because they like food, they like the way they consume the food and various varieties of food and things like that. And there are some people who are, I would say, who are blind towards having sexual pleasures, and they ruin themselves like that. And there are some people who always have some they wanted to have some sort of a kick, so they indulge in boozing, they alcoholic and things like that. But I am talking about the biological needs are also drivers for people. Now, what are the social motives? Some people, in spite of all the biological needs, would like to achieve something in the society in which they live. They were very aggressive to achieve that one. They wanted to have some power over some people or influence them. There is something like we need to acquire something. Say for example, real estate. Somebody might set a target that I must have a land bank of 400 acres, both agricultural land, non-agricultural land put together. Or you might have a goal that I must have a land bank of real estate, which means plots. I must have 15 plots by the end of the current year. You know, people set different targets. Then there are people who are curious. They wanted to know something in their own school of studies. Say for example, a chemistry student would like to understand what is the chemical bond of one particular element. Okay, he might end up becoming a researcher, and he might do a PhD and come out with some sort of findings. Okay, and there are personal motives. They are nothing but artistic in nature. Like some people would like to become a dancer. Somebody must have watched Kamal Hassan movies where he dances in a Bharatanatyam and classical dance and things like that. So people would like to get motivated by seeing his dancing performance. He would like to learn classical dance and become a guru of a classical dance. So people set different levels of types of goals and things like that, levels of aspirations. Some people will have aspiration to become a social worker. Some people have got an attitude and interest that I want to see the entire world, I want to travel the entire world. These are all various goals which people have got at personal levels. Now let us understand again from Bhagavad Gita, man is made by his own belief. Yad bhavam tad bhavati. As he believes, so he is. If you believe that you are happy, you will be happy. If you believe that you are not happy, you will be sad. If you believe that you can achieve it, you will one day achieve it. It may not be achievable within one effort or two efforts, but if you believe, yes, I can do that, you will do that. So, what are the determinants of motivation? The earlier monistic approach considered money as the only source of motivation for individual. Monistic means single, that is the single goal of the entire humanity. That is what earlier thought. Under the school of thought, a person is motivated to act in a certain manner only in order to increase his monetary rewards. But later, another school of thought emerged which gave a pluralist explanation. Pluralist means multifaceted explanation of the mechanism of motivation. It recognizes the thought that a person works to fulfill a variety of needs, and motivation basically is an interplay of four groups of factors, namely individuals, organizations, job characteristics and influences operating in the external environment, exogenous variables. Meaning, after completing this course BBA in rural management, how many people remain in the rural areas? We never know. How many people take up jobs in the corporate world? We never know. But you know why you have chosen that decision. You have taken up a course of rural management. What prevented you to remain in the rural areas? Why do you want to move to an urban area? What is the driver for that? Because it is an interplay of various things. If you find that rural organizations are not having posh looking environments, ergonomics are not good, okay, I don't have Google like workplaces, okay, if you want to get into Google, then this course is irrelevant for you. It might give you a job because Google might work in some rural areas or work for some rural applications and things like that, so that it might take you because you know the rural realities much better than the BBA from a typical MBA school or a business school. Okay, so it varies from person to person. That is the reason you need to understand what motivates you. I do not know what motivated you to take up this course, and what will motivate you to remain in the rural areas and serve the rural masses and see the change in their lives and be happy and things like that. Okay, all the best to you. Remember thing, yad bhavam tad bhavati. Thank you.